And we're back. In the studio with us this morning are Aaron Keefe, who is an occupational therapist over in Garden Ridge. Aaron, welcome to the show. And R.J. Alora, a physical therapist in EV, I guess, Garden Ridge. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And you're going to. It says here we're going to talk about winter safety, but you can talk about anything you want. I'm going to let you start.
Sure. The cold weather is approaching us.
Yes.
So just some pointers that rehab have thought to share with everyone, just to be aware of, when things start getting slippery with the ice and the snow, make sure you're wearing decent shoes with traction, good soles, and some things they say when walking, spread your feet out, walk like a penguin. That way you steady yourself a little bit better while walking. Another advice is maybe wait a little bit, let the ice melt a little, wait till the community clears up the snow a little bit before venturing out to your vehicle or activities. Make sure your cell phone's charged and bring it with you, so if you need it.
Okay, if you wait until the day warms up, you could come in at noontime, I suppose. Come to work at noontime? I don't suppose you can get away with that, could you?
The good thing is, Green Spring usually posts this warnings, like icy condition.
Yes.
I mean, even like days before. So always be mindful of those reminders.
Sure. So you are both in EV, as I understand, and you both work in the gym, I guess it's called, the gym. My wife spent some time in EV, first couple of years that we were here, and I came to know Lily and Nell and Joanna. And there's another Erin there, is there not? Isn't there not another Erin?
There was, but
she's gone. Okay.
She's gone, but
So tell us about the workload. How many people do you see in a day?
It varies. On a day-to-day basis, we can see anywhere between 5 to 8 patients a day.
Yeah.
And a variety of diagnoses that we work with.
When my wife was there, I would go over and I'd volunteer to push patients to and from, which gave the therapist a little more time to, I recall one day there was a problem with one of the patients. I was having a problem with one of the patients, and I was explaining this to Joanna, is it? And I couldn't, for some reason, pull up the name patient. So I referred to the patient as an inmate. Joanne said, no.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, yes. Aaron, how long have you been here at Greensburg?
I'm going 5 years this December.
And where were you before?
I was doing contract therapies in the area, so I was working at other skilled nursing facilities in the area.
Sure, and you were working, or you were not an independent contractor, probably.
No, I was working with a company.
Sure. And RJ, how about you?
I've been here for 11 years.
11, really? Yeah. How come I haven't seen you before?
I've been mostly in Garden Ridge, but sometimes in outpatient also in Hunter's Crossing, and depending on the need, home care also.
Yeah. But you probably, both of you probably get over to Hunter's Crossing sometime?
Yes.
On occasion? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We do have that opportunity.
What was your preparation for this? How long have you been doing this now? What did you do? What was your training?
I've been practicing 9 years. And to be a practicing occupational therapist at this time, you have to get a master's level at this time.
Really?
So I did. Luckily, I found a college that had an accelerated program, and I did 4 years undergrad, and then 1 year grad school, and I was able to graduate with a master's. So
4 years of undergrad. That sounds like it could be a full academic program as well.
Yes.
My wife took a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from Niagara University, Vincentian School in Niagara Falls. 4-year program, but what 4 years meant was 4 years. You know, when students were out laying around on a beach somewhere, Marianne was working. The program started in September 1951 and didn't end until the end of August in 1955. And she would get some time off, but it was intense.
Yeah.
It was an intense program. How about you, RJ?
I've been practicing for 16 years.
Yeah.
At the time, the only requirement, because I'm foreign educated, was bachelor's degree, but I had my credentials evaluated,
Sure.
and it came out to be equivalent to a master's degree here in the States.
Sure.
And then I was allowed to take the national boards,
Sure.
and then I got my U.S. license.
Yeah. So you were foreign born
Foreign educated, yeah.
and foreign educated.
Yes.
Yeah. Where?
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's not an easy thing to do. Is to make that transition.
Yes, I had to go through the credentialing process.
Sure.
But once I've completed the requirements,
Yeah.
I was able to take the national boards in Guam, because they don't offer it in the Philippines, so I had to fly to Guam
Yeah, really.
and take the test for 2 hours and fly back to Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Aaron, your early advice relative to the winter months. Gosh, there are a lot of falls.
I know.
An awful lot of falls here at Green Spring. It seemed to me, particularly in the early months of this calendar year, it was winter time still. How long typically is a patient in EV?
In Evergreen, it varies again depending upon their immediate diagnosis,
Yeah.
as well as what level of function they come to us. Ultimately, we're working with them to get them to the next higher level of function for them,
Yeah.
as close to prior level as we can. So it varies. People can be with us for a week. People can be with us for a month to a little bit longer than a month. It all varies.
So I suppose as long as they're showing some progress, I guess, Medicare will cover that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What else can you tell us? Yes, I've run out of questions here. We've got about 4 minutes probably.
I'd like to talk about your last statement, like as long as they're making progress.
Yeah.
That used to be the thinking before
Yeah.
for patients to stay in rehab. But with all the changes going on, it's tricky now, because a patient may not necessarily show progress, but as long as we can justify a need, because let's say someone is walking, but not safe with untrained professionals, then therapy can continue. But on the other hand, the main thing is what are we looking at? What are our goals?
Yes, sure.
And bottom line, it's always patient safety, and that's when we really come in and make our recommendations. Can this resident go back to his or her apartment with the right amount of help, or like what Aaron said, transition to the next appropriate level of care?
Yeah.
May it be assisted living or long-term care. So that part of our work, that's where we really our professional judgment comes in.
Yeah, sure. I was hospitalized for a while back in June and came out with a really bad back. So I was over at Hunter's Crossing, and gosh, they were good. And I'm sorry, for some reason I can't think of the names except Gary. I remember Gary was there, and they were excellent. We've got probably less than 3 minutes here. You need to talk to me more here to keep the conversation going here. So now, what do you have some? What do you foresee yourself going professionally?
Professionally, there's always options to pursue education further. I
Yeah,
could
sure.
always pursue a doctorate, and that would
Yeah.
be, that's more school, but it's on the plate, so it's a possibility.
You know, I've said this before. In the olden days, if you took a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, for instance,
Yeah.
what you did was nurse. But if you took a master's degree or a doctorate, you wound up an administrator. The nursing was over. We're down to less than a minute here, Aaron and RJ. I thank you both for coming, and you'll get to visit again, hopefully, at some time in the future. Green Spring, we're going to have a roll-in here, and it's on fall colors, so stay with us.